Got any viewers yet? Get it cooking? All right. I guess we're live. This is fun. These kind of sucked for a while. You had a really bad one at Ole Miss. Not the content, but the what you had to talk about. But today we got to win.
complained for 30 minutes.
Yes, you did. No complaining today.
I watched that one. It was a little too much for even me, to get that one digested.
80-57. Cats win number 16 on the season, back to 500 in the SEC. Don't let the Wildcats get hot. We had a fun day here, a noon game against winless South Carolina. We could mention the slow start. We'll throw that out while we're celebrating, but a good game overall. Had some surprise performances. 4 guys in double figures, including Brandon Garrison off the bench, who we'll get to. Otega Owe led the team in 17 points. We're going to make fun of Jack for that in a minute, bro. Overall, boys, just good to be smiling again. How you feeling, Zach? We're a dub in Rupp Arena. What's this like?
Yeah, it feels good. When was the last home win?
Has it been a few Saturdays?
Been a few Saturdays, yeah. So it has been a while. Yeah.
That far back?
It might have been. That was the game where Lamont Butler got hurt. But hey, guess who was in the game today? Guess who started? Lamont Butler.
Oh, can't do that.
Oh yeah, you'll get a tech here. 8 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds from Lamont Butler. His first game back since January 25th, so he'd missed 3 games. You can tell pretty quickly how important he is to this team on both ends of the floor. But let's kind of go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. South Carolina's bad. There's a reason they're 0-9 coming into this game in the SEC. They're now 0-10. They just don't really have the talent or the depth. But all that being said, I thought this was Kentucky's best defensive effort in a long time. Mainly the effort is emphasis on the effort, because they were trying so hard, especially in that first half. Held South Carolina to 19 points. Steven, what was your stat again? First time SEC?
Since Georgia 2019.
First time under 20 points and a half since against a Power 5 opponent since whatever Steven just said there. So long time. They did awesome. Really flying around. A lot of good recovery. They were just playing very hard on that end of the floor. So that's what I'd love to see. The offense took a little bit to come around, but the defense was a good point.
Let's stay on the defense before we send you in, and me and Jack will break it down.
Please.
How much do you think Butler was part of just the overall attitude on defense?
Maybe in this game, the attitude, yes, is probably
just
having him out there, because he was pestering the hell out of some of these poor South Carolina ball handlers, especially in the second half, really getting up into him in the second they crossed half court. So he was awesome in that regard. But yes, just his overall attitude, having him back, it also just takes some pressure off of Jackson Robinson, who had some wrist injury or issues today coming into this game. No fracture or anything, according to reports, but it was multiple times in the second half. Jack and I caught him doing the old holding it really hard. He continued to play, though, so it must not be terribly bad. He had 8 points or something. But the overall defense was just so much more improved. Credit to Lamont Butler being in there to kind of inject some juice, take some responsibilities away from other people. Credit to the Rupp Arena crowd for having a good crowd today. And credit to South Carolina for just being really bad at basketball, because that definitely helped.
That was Zach, South Carolina's bad at basketball report. He's going to go talk to Mark Pope and maybe
big crowd in
Butler.
there.
Tell Lamont Butler.
Absolutely. I will. Yes, sir.
Now Jack and I will get into more of the fun. Let's just move on to the other star of the game, Jack, since I feel like you played a role in his game.
I did.
Otega Owe, double-digit scoring once again. That is now 21 games. Only been 21 games this season. He's done it every single game. The only player in the SEC that has done that. That's pretty cool. But, Jack, you had your doubts. In fact, I'm telling on him. He started a post. I saw it on his computer about Owe not getting double digits. I feel like you turned it around with that little computer jinx that we know in this business a little bit.
You're welcome. Guys, Otega, if you're watching, you're welcome. I know that you got the virtual, just needed the good vibes. Somebody to doubt you. And I'm glad that I could be that person. Otega's inevitable, man. There are times that Otega can just be a total non-factor and just be man, I don't know why he's just not, giving it. And then you look at the scoreboard 5 minutes later, and he's like, when did he get 12 points? How did that happen? He is just such a, when he gets downhill and he just kind of finds these angles and he gets a chip on his shoulder. He comes in with an edge, and he's like, hey, I'm going to rattle off 12 straight points right now. And poof, he ends up leading the team in scoring. So I'm glad I could be that jinx for him. I'm glad that his streak of being the only player in the SEC to have double digits scoring in every single game, one of 13 players entering today in all of Division I basketball to finish in double-digit scoring. So shout out to Otega Owe.
Another one that surprised me on the box score after the game, I wasn't paying that close of attention. I'm watching the action in front of me. I knew Brandon Garrison was playing well, but the number 15 points. That's season high for Brandon Garrison. And yes, the technical foul. Rupp Arena was booing. People online were complaining. I'm telling you, folks, you can't shoot somebody in the head. If you watch college football this season, they made it very clear right away. Week 1, no finger guns. Even though you had Dylan Stewart at South Carolina hitting people with the automatic, there is a zero tolerance for the the gun celebration, and looked like he put it right between the eyeballs after making that three.
Deserved. The tech was deserved, but the gunshot was deserved because Brandon played great. Like there are just times where Brandon Garrison will just kind of find this spurt of confidence. He's like this golden retriever out on the floor where he just kind of like is happily playing, and like he'll be like, "Oh, good ball. Let's go put it in the basket," over and over and over again. Wasn't super productive rebounding the ball, but he's just kind of finding his footing. He had a little bit of a cold streak here in SEC play. They needed to find that production as Amari had kind of rose to superstardom in the SEC. Didn't want to leave Brandon Garrison behind, and I loved what he provided, especially on the scoring mark. I'd love to see him. Watching him warm up is hilarious because if you see him shoot threes and pregame shoot around, you'll think like, wow, this guy has to be shooting 78% from three on the year. It makes no sense. He hits all of them. Some inconsistencies in the game, but hey, if he's going to hit them every once in a while, that's a pretty darn terrific 6'11" threat out there.
Early in the SEC, he was like 3 for 4. Then he went cold. I don't think he's had one in a couple weeks. Busted one tonight. I like that. He had a bunch of good dunks. After one of his dunks, he's big on the celebrations. He was giving the guy this. I think that was like 20 seconds before the finger gun. But good seeing him getting some rhythm back. Amari, 10 points. No triple-double tonight. Favorite play of the night might have been Amari. We're throwing lobs now. We haven't been lobbing in a while. Big highlight reel where they threw it up to Amari and he finished. One of my favorite plays.
Amari sent a lob to somebody up in the second deck trying to pass it to Kobe Brea too, so that was pretty fun.
Stay on Kobe Brea. Finally, he woke up. Rough stretch for Kobe Brea. I think a big part of the reason Kentucky lost 4 or 5 games was he just wasn't making the threes at the clip they needed him today to do. But today he was on fire, Jack, and I think moving forward, it's getting pretty clear if you just look at the results and how Kobe played. They've got to have him show up in games.
In career high, 6 assists as well. Like I just thought that Kobe had an edge to him today where he was a little bit more assertive trying to, attacking the glass. I thought he was a little bit more assertive trying to find his spots. Hit open shots. Obviously, he had one from Harlan County, I think. It was incredible. But he clearly wanted to show a more well-rounded game. 10 points. It wasn't his best scoring output, but he was, hit some big shots. But also, I just loved the way he facilitated. Loved the way he made some plays and rebound. I thought he had a nose for the basketball today. I thought Trent Noah was incredible on the glass as well. I thought those two at the guard position, for wing kind of position, I thought they were both terrific on the glass.
I think he took that trillion personally in that last game. Get made fun of on the internet a little bit. Let's go back to the health situation. Jackson Robinson hit 2 early threes, only went like 2 for 8 for the game, those 6 points. We learned this morning that he suffered a wrist injury in practice. Have you heard anything there? Do you think that held him back today, even though he played? Is this a concern? What's going on with Jackson?
So we got here right when he walked himself out onto the floor for pregame warm-ups. In the first 10 shots that he took, he short-armed every single one of them. They looked terrible, and I was like, oh boy, Jackson, I don't know what this team looks like without, if Lamont's going to be less than 100%, if Kerr's going to stay out, and if Jackson's less than, what does this team even look like if you're not getting Jackson Robinson? He plays a little bit more, comfortable. It clearly bothered him, but it was clearly something that he was able to play through. The thing that I noticed most after kind of dealing with his wrist thing going out, there were a couple times that he was in just excruciating pain. He'd come out, sit down for a couple minutes, and then go back to the scorer's table. He checked back in with 6 minutes, 50 seconds left. So not something that appears to be long-term, something that's going to keep him out, but definitely something to monitor for a guy who is, one of Kentucky's most consistent scorers.
And we mentioned Lamont Butler being back at the top with Zach there. Very big news with him coming back. Could see it lingering a little, like Zach said, you'd see some of it there, but, just what does that do for confidence moving forward? No more worry. There's been conversations of, will we see him again? We can put those to bed. Played a lot of minutes today, even though it wasn't his best offensive effort. He just makes such a difference out there.
Well, that was the biggest frustration in Oxford. It just felt like they were taking the punches, that they were letting Ole Miss get to wherever they wanted instead of initiating themselves defensively and kind of putting themselves up and forcing kind of, just some disruptions. And that was the first thing you noticed with Lamont Butler back. He's guarding 94 feet. He's picking up at half court and, forcing them to kind of make plays. And yes, South Carolina stinks, but there is something contagious about when you're kind of showing that edge and saying, hey, I'm coming to make you uncomfortable, that kind of just has that uncertainty that lingers for South Carolina. I thought that was obvious. The exact thing that was missing down in Oxford that kind of set the tone. That's how you get down by 27 points. Don't let them get confident. I think that's what Lamont Butler did. I don't care what he did scoring. I don't care what he did facilitating. It was the defensive pressure that, kind of set the tone. I thought it was the best first half defensive production that we've seen from Kentucky, intensity, urgency in a pretty long time.
Also, from that long injury report we've been dealing with, Andrew Carr looks to be all the way back healthy. Not a great game by him, but he finally hit a three. I still want him to shoot more. He popped it. It's the only one he took, if I'm not mistaken. There's a story coming out soon about him with some quotes and some stats in the past. He was taking like 3 to 4 threes a game a year ago. Fire him, Andrew. Let's get back to it. But it was good that he made one today.
Yeah.
Slowly getting back to healthy with the whole team.
This team passes on way too many shots. The volume just isn't where it needs to be. Andrew Carr is like one of the main guilty parties with this. When you have a clean look, don't pass up for another slightly clean look. You have it. You're confident. You're a good 3-point shooter. Just take it. Just make it. We trust you, and I trust somebody else to get the offensive rebound and get it back to you if you miss.
There we go.
Take the shots,
Cats.
Andrew. We trust you.
I just noted, why are we standing so close to this trash can?
You were kind of getting
sitting here posing with South Carolina right here.
Yeah.
Some more fun from the game. They honored the 1975 team, the one that came up just short, losing to UCLA when John Wooden pulled that move, saying he's going to retire and inspiring the Bruins to win the national championship. But most of those guys were back. Jimmy Dan Connor spoke on behalf of the team.
Wait, I thought that was Magneto.
It was Magneto. He looks just like Magneto from the X-Men. Kevin Greavy, who had 34 points in that championship game, couldn't make it, but I thought it was neat. One of his teammates was just holding an iPhone up with him on FaceTime from back home. Some of the guys who passed and couldn't make it, they had their sons there. One of them went to my high school. Michael Phillips was there representing his dad. Good to see you back here, Mike. But just a cool treat bringing those guys back. I mean, they've done this for a while with these anniversaries and honor teams, but it doesn't get old giving these guys their recognition because that's one of the best to ever do it. They just didn't win that last game for Joby Hall.
Got a nice little Goose pop as well.
Oh, yeah.
He's obviously
mentioned Goose, of course.
He's obviously a fan favorite. But, I just like... It just feels like the alumni, and it just feels like there's such an outreach with Mark Pope taking over that they're just wanting to just rack up as many former Cats over the course of the whole season. We got George, we got every single game. There's somebody new, there's somebody different. They just said, hey, just bring the whole darn team back. 1975 team. I loved just kind of the memories and the nostalgia and Magneto. Shout out Magneto. You look great. Your hair is fantastic.
He was the wild tonight. Magneto was the wild. That was cool. They had assistant coach Dickie Parsons there representing the coaching staff. Obviously, Joe B's moved on, but very cool acknowledgement for that team and a celebration of them. Just an overall fun day in Rupp Arena. We're back on Tuesday, Jack. How are we feeling? We got the Vols. The Cats just whooped them down there with a thin roster. After that, you got Texas. You got Vandy at home. I predicted going to this one. I think there's a 4-game winning streak ahead. I still think that. Are you feeling comfortable? The schedule kind of lines up with some winnable games here before you get to Alabama.
I like that Tennessee is taking care of business against Oklahoma today. I did not want them to have any reason to have a big chip on their shoulder going into this one. Kentucky just needed today to have more points than the other team. Like, there was nothing that I cared about more. When you lose 4 or 5, you lose 2 straight, there's just something that kind of get that monkey off your back of just get back in the win column and let everything else play out the way you need to. Not only do you get more points than the other team, it's a feel-good blowout win. It's the biggest win Kentucky has had since, I think, the Brown game on New Year's Eve. So it's just that feel-good, hey, we're good. Like, I know the injury bug is kind of hit and things have gotten a little uneasy, but just don't forget that this team is a really, really good Kentucky basketball team, and I'm glad that the confidence is kind of rebuilding with this group. They're gaining the momentum that they kind of lost there for a minute, and now we can see what they're made of against a top 10 team. We needed this to get to Tuesday. I'm feeling 10 times better than I was going into the day.
Oh, I couldn't imagine going to Tennessee having lost 5 of 6. You mentioned needing them to score points. When you hold a team to 57, pretty confident Mark Pope team can score 57. Personally, I need them to score 75.5. Sweat that out a little bit, but thank you for that.
And who did it? Who did it?
Who was it? Trent Noah.
Trent
Noah, Mountain Mamba, Sweet Angel Mountain Baby. Thank you for helping my Super Bowl fun going in tomorrow. Before we wrap this up and go see what Mark Pope's up to, I'm sure it's going to be another fun post game with him. Any lingering other things from the game? Anything? Hunt Brothers Hunt Cam, the lookalike cam. Anything stand out to you?
Guys.
Retire that, right?
The lookalike cam is a no-go. I appreciate the effort, but we just gotta. It's just not working. None of them are close.
And it gets awkward.
It got a little weird with the Will Smith. It didn't even look remotely close to Will Smith. Let's just cut it. It's done. It's done. But
outside of that, though, we had a blast. Great
it's
day
warm
today.
outside. It's beautiful.
I got a raincoat in here. I thought it was going to be like 30. I was bundled up, and I'm walking around seeing people in T-shirts like an idiot. So we're also happy to have the weather. If you're in Lexington, Caden Lewis's mom, DJ Farrah Flossett, she's down the street. I'm going to go pop in and hear her on the ones and twos. How can you miss DJ Farrah Flossett? But first, we're going to go inside, hear from Pope, and continue the celebration. Thank you all for watching us at home. You keep celebrating. You got the Super Bowl tomorrow. Chiefs or Eagles?
Eagles.
Chiefs or Eagles, Steven?
Chiefs.
Okay, I'm probably on the Chiefs, too. Thanks again for watching us. Watch Jack on the Sources Say, all that fun stuff. Lots of stuff coming to the KSR website. We're about to go in and write about it. Cats win to go to 16-7?
A certain number of losses.
Yeah, 5-5 in SEC play. I should know that. Whatever. We're going inside. Thanks for watching. Go Cats.